Okay, we're in the middle of the sugya of Kibbud Av V'em, Rabbi Sai, trying to mechazik ourselves in being mechazik in being mechabed our parents. It's a very important idea. I want to tell you a very important idea which the Yaris Tvash brings down, Rabbi Yonis and Eibeshitz. He brings down v'tzorech chizuk godel b'mitzvah zu. We need a tremendous amount of chizuk. Nochi explains the Yaris Tvash in this mitzvah. Why? He says in our unfortunate Avera situation, we are not as careful as we should be in this. And he says it's because of a lack of yediyah. It's not chas v'shalom because a person doesn't want to be mechabed his parents. Everybody, if he realizes the severity and the basic idea behind the mitzvah, everybody wants to mechabed their parents. But sometimes we don't understand what this mitzvah is all about. It's a lack of yediyas. That's what the Yaris Tvash brings down in Chelik Beis, Jerush Beis and Yud Beis. And in fact, the Heilige Chofetz Chaim brings down, what is the first step to knowing these halachas? What is the first step to keeping these halachas? Says the famous Chofetz Chaim. Chofetz Chaim says in anything, and people sometimes ask, what do I do if I want to be more careful in X, Y, and Z? The obvious answer is, like the Chofetz Chaim says clearly, is that you learn the halachas. Because when you learn the halachas, it gives you a certain sensitivity to what it is. In fact, the Chofetz Chaim says, just like, and everyone's familiar with this, we mentioned this in the Shabbos Shurim, that Chofetz Chaim says in the Hagdama, Chelik Gimel, that it's absolutely impossible for a person to keep Shabbos properly with all the details unless you actually learn Hilchos Shabbos. You just can't. Says the Chofetz Chaim, it's the same thing when it comes to Kibbud Av V'em. It's all very nice that we can sit here and we could say, it's the most important mitzvah, and if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. If you do it, this is what's going to happen. We can give you from today to tomorrow the rewards and all the punishment. Very nice. But if we don't spend time learning the actual halachas of what to do and what not to do, then it's impossible. The Yisod V'Shorish V'Avodah brings down that a person should set aside regular time to learn the halachas of Kibbud Av V'em in order, number one, to know the halachas, to know what to do and what not to do. And also, the more you learn it, the more it keeps you in your mind. And I think it's an important thing. You know, somebody asked me recently, we're going to learn a bit about this, but somebody asked me recently, why should I mechabed my parents? I have no respect for them whatsoever. For what they did to me and what they did to my siblings and whatever, I have no respect for them whatsoever. How can I be mechabed my parents? And it was a problem, because he's going to be with his parents, and what's he going to do? I gave him a whole thing on Kibbud Av V'em. It's like, I don't respect them. He does this wrong, she does this wrong, like a whole... So I said, listen, this is what you need to do. And this, I think, is something that all of us can gain from. Baruch Hashem, many of us have beautiful relationships with our parents. And if we do, we can be mechazik that. And if we don't, then let's be mechazik that also. But what do we do if we have a situation where we don't respect our parents? For whatever it is. You have that very often when a boy comes to Eretz Yisrael, or a girl comes to Eretz Yisrael, and he learns more about Yiddishkeit and Torah and everything else. They come back and they see, oy vay, my parents are not really as connected as I would like them to be, as I thought they would be, or as I am even. It's a common problem when guys go home. I used to give a series of shurim for guys when they go home, what to do in various scenarios and situations, how to deal with things. Because after all, Kibbud Av V'em is one of the most important mitzvahs. I'll give an example. We'll come back to give an example. A fellow says to me like this: he got married, and he got a new house, and he needed to buy mezuzahs for his new house. So he says to me that his father-in-law is a sofer. He writes mezuzahs and tefillin and sifrei Torah. He writes mezuzahs. He says, I don't want to buy for my father-in-law, because I don't think my father-in-law is as Yireh Shamayim as you're meant to buy a mezuzah from, and I want to buy a mezuzah from a Yireh Shamayim. It's very choshev. So could you suggest me somebody else to go to buy a mezuzah for my new house, for my doorways, whatever? So I told him, I happen to know who his father-in-law was, and your father's a from Yid, yeah? I'm saying he keeps all the halachas, yeah, 100%. Everything's from, totally gavaldik. I just don't hold of him as a massive Yireh Shamayim, and I want to have mezuzahs that are Mehuda, Yireh Shamayim, and everything. I told him, listen, to buy Mehuda mezuzahs is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's a gavaldik gazach. Moshe Sternberg writes in Jewish Van Hoggers how careful the mezuzah we have to be that we buy, because it is the most important insurance policy you have in your house. People are cheap, by the way, when it comes to mezuzahs. They're like, okay, the house I'll spend a fortune on, but the mezuzah are like, what can I get away with? Wrong. The mezuzah is the greatest insurance policy that you have. It keeps the whole home safe. You should buy the most expensive mezuzah that exists, because that keeps your home safe. But anyway, that's a sugya not for now. Anyway, so I told him, listen, buying a Mehuda mezuzah is lovely, it's beautiful, it's a maila. Kibbud Av V'em is a chiyuv gomel, and therefore I think you should buy from your father-in-law, because he knows that you are going to be buying from someone, and you're not buying from him. That's going to cause him tsar and distress and pain, and you shouldn't do that. But getting back to my original thing, what do I tell this guy? What do I tell a guy who says, I've got no respect for my parents, he's done this for, she's done a terrible, terrible relationship? What do you tell him? So I say like this. Is there something, I asked him this question, is there something good? Let's take his father, for example. Is there something good that your father did in his lifetime? Anytime. Not even with you. Is there anything good that he ever does to other people? So he said, he thinks about it, he says, yeah, of course. My father gives a lot of tzedakah. He helps a lot of people. He's a, big bell tzedakah. I said, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. So yes, not ignoring all the other things that are negative, but take the one thing that he does good, pinpoint that, highlight it, bold, and remember that, and be mechabed him for that reason. Now there's no other reason really to be mechabed your parent other than the fact that they had you, right? They, at the end of the day, they are your parents. They brought you into the world, and that is enough of a reason to say thank you, because they gave you the opportunity to be in this world. But al kaponim, the realization that Kibbud Av V'em is an extremely, extremely important mitzvah. In fact, the Yisod V'Shorish V'Avoda brings, he says, I'll quote you the Lashon, she is Zoya Odom Ma'oid Lahashon Nimet Zeh V'chol Shana B'Kviyas. Every year you should learn these halachas. Every single one of us should learn Yeridei Simon Reish Mem, the halachas of Kibbud Av V'em, to Machabed our parents. It should be right here the whole time. Right? It's a very important halachas. It's a very, very important halacha. Okay? All the way, yeah. But in some way, yes. Right? Now, Rabbi say, okay. So as we said, Rabbi say, that this is a mitzvah of appreciation. This is a mitzvah of appreciation. And therefore, we try to appreciate our parents in the best possible way. Now, I'll start today, and we'll continue maybe more tomorrow. Let's go through some of the halachas. We've spoken about the milas. We've spoken about, how choshev it is, so the marmakoimus, whatever it may be. Let's talk about the halachas now, okay? Let's talk about the halachas that are actually nogei in that case. By the way, when a person causes anguish to his parent, he causes the shekhinah to leave the house. You have to be careful. Otherwise, you guys are going to be home. You're going to be with your parents. Be careful not to cause tsar, not to cause pain to your parents. Okay? It's a very, very, first of all, there's another reason as well. Apart from Kibbud Av V'em, you want to show them that the Torah that you learned, the time that you spent, refined you as a human being and made you into a better person. And naturally, if you're a better person, you're a more respectful person. You're a more mindful person of other people's feelings. Okay? So let's start, Rabbi, like this. Okay, Rapol? Yeah? Let's begin. Mochala. Ready for this? Let's go. There are two separate halachas that we have to talk about. Halacha number one is kibbud, to mechabed your parents. Literally means to honor them, to honor your parents. And then there's halacha called moira, fear, to fear your parents. Ish imoy va'aviv tira'u. And therefore we know from there that there's a chiyuv da'oraisa min ha'Torah, to not only honor your parents, but also to fear your parents. Now, what is the nafkamina between moira and kibbud? What is the nafkamina between honor and fear? Anyone know? Okay. Can I say in a simpler way? Very good. Very good. Kibbud is what you do, moira is what you don't do. In other words, be mechabed your parents is a positive act of doing something to be mechabed them. Moira, fearing them, is what you don't do out of fear. And by the way, just to clarify, fear. What is the word fear? It's actually, I don't really like the translation fear, because fear means I'm scared. We're not meant to be scared of your parents. I'll give you an example. I'll give an example. When we used to take boys, some of you were zoicha to come with us, to Hagoyin HaGodel, Reb Chaim Kanievsky, Zeichat Tzadik V'Kodesh Tevracha. Boys were scared. Boys were like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Now, if you stop them for a moment and say, what does that mean you're scared? What's he going to do to you? The answer is, no, I'm not scared like that. No one's scared of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. They were in awe of him. When you're in awe of someone, there's a certain moira, there's a certain fear. So fear over here doesn't mean you're scared of them. It just means there's a certain awe. Now we have to build up that awe of our parents. When we come to the realization what our parents are to us, what they've done to us throughout all the years, how much they've given us, then we should have some awe towards them. And that's important. Because many of the things that we're going to be discussing in the next couple of days is the moira, the fear, but that can only come when we have a realization who they are. And like the Chinuch says, and like the Chalodim says, this is all a vehicle to get to real kibbud of the Rabbeinu Shalom, moira of the Rabbeinu Shalom, because it's very hard for us to be in awe of Hashem, or be machabed Hashem, if we don't know how to do that on a human level, down in this world. Often, like the Maral says, many things down in this world are a way of simply helping us to get to doing it in the next world or doing it to a higher level. So therefore, machabed our parents is a way of being machabed the Rabbeinu Shalom, and as we said, when we are machabed our parents, ultimately what we're doing is the Rabbeinu Shalom takes it as we would be machabed him. And if chas v'shalom we're mezalzel our parents, then the Rabbeinu Shalom Rachmanos will take it as if we'd be mezalzel him. So Rabbi say, again and again and again, I can't stress it enough, this is something that's negated the entire year, whether you're in Eretz Yisrael, whether you're in America or England, doesn't make a difference where you are. But when you're there in front of them, obviously the obligation is much more serious, and the opportunities are also much more serious, because the opportunities for being able to mechabed them and to do this mitzvah and get avichas yomim and get all the tremendous brachos are amazing. Mitzvah Shem, tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to actually start going through the actual halachas that are negeya to being mechabed our parents. Join us tomorrow for that.